Hey, Nora.
Hello, Dad.
What are we going to talk about this week?
We are going to talk about music.
Welcome back to the Norah and Dad show. I am, as always, Dad. I am here, as always, with Nora, which makes sense since the show is called the Norah and Dad show, and it would be weird if I was here with Fred or Jane, since that would be false advertising. But it's good to be back with everybody. As Nora said, we are going to talk about music this week, which is weird to me that we're now, I think, 15 episodes into our podcast, and music that is an important part of both of our lives is something that we've touched on, but haven't really talked about in detail.
We talked about it on another podcast, so that might have been why.
So when we did Rock in the Suburbs, which is the kind of what gave us the idea to do this podcast to begin with, our topic was concerts. So yeah, we did talk about music on that, which is a music podcast. You've been making music since you were, what, 7 years old?
That is true.
You were actually in what I would call like a fairly successful local band. Would you agree?
I would say it was fairly successful.
I mean, you were, given that you were only, 11 to 13 years old when this band was going on. And I think the oldest person was 2 years older than you. So 15 when the band ended. You guys had a fair amount of success at a pretty young age and pretty quickly, right?
It was relatively quick, yeah.
So the band Fake ID, how many times did you play Ohio Bike Week?
Twice.
Which was awesome. That is what it says it is. It's a biker festival in Sandusky, Ohio. And there you were at 11 years old on stage singing rock music for a bunch of really, really drunk and stoned bikers, which was awesome. You were Best of Cleveland 2019. Is that right?
It was the year before COVID, so yeah.
So Best of Cleveland 2019, which is Cleveland Magazine every year publishes their Best of Cleveland issue. And in the fall of that year, or in the summer of that year, actually, in 2019, we got a Facebook message saying that your band won Best of Cleveland, and did you want to play at the Best of Cleveland party at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And I kind of thought it was a joke that somebody was pulling our leg because, why would you,
rude.
I think you deserved it, but no, I think you deserved it. But didn't you think it was some kind of scam at first?
No.
Could this possibly be real?
You didn't
could
tell
we
me until you thought it was
best?
real, so.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a scam until I did a little bit of investigation, and it was actually legit. And so you guys, I'll link the story in the show notes, but Best of Cleveland 2019, the best unexpected rock stars, was that the?
Yes. Originally it was best cover band, but then we asked if they could change it because we wanted to not just play covers at the Rock Hall.
You wanted to do original music. And that came with its own drama because right after you found out that you won, two guys quit the band.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. One of your original guitar players and your bass player quit the band within a week of committing to play the Best of Cleveland party at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that performance was in doubt for a little bit. And then Ian, your original bass player who had moved with his family, or his family moved and he went with them since he was a teenager, to Phoenix, agreed to come back and play with you guys.
Yes, very thankful for that.
And kind of saved the day. So Ian, if you're listening, we love you, dude, and we all appreciate it. And then the Rock Off in 2020, the high school Rock Off, which is again at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and is one of, I think, the biggest high school talent, rock talent competition in the country.
Well, it's not just rock.
Right. There's rap and country and high school battle of the bands. How's that?
That is more accurate. And that's going on right now, too. And we have a friend who's in it, so that's cool. Or I have a friend.
Yeah, so the former drummer and one of the former guitar players from Fake ID have subsequently put up. Fake ID COVID kind of killed your band, unfortunately, but the two of them put another band together, and they're in the finals of the Rock Off. But 2 years ago, the last time the Rock Off was held, Fake ID made the finals of the Rock Off. 30 or 32 bands, whatever it is, play over a number of rounds, and judges vote, and then they pass bands through to the finals, and then somebody wins, and they get prizes and whatever, and your band did not win ultimately the finals, but still got through, which was a huge accomplishment, and that was a blast, and that was like right before COVID.
I'm kind of glad we didn't win.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know. I just feel like we wouldn't. Well, because like we broke up during COVID, so like we weren't playing shows or anything. And the band that did win Detention, like I felt bad for them because they didn't get to do anything. Luckily, they got to do it the year after. And they're doing very good now, which is nice because they're all very lovely people.
I hear them on Sirius now.
I know, it's so cool.
One of, like the punk channel, and I'll put the radio on, and I'm like, I know who those guys are, and there they are on Sirius XM, which is really cool. And you've done music stuff on your own. Do you miss being in a band?
Yeah.
You've done your own music thing since that band broke up. You've recorded a song. You've played solo gigs kind of all over town for the last couple of years. But you said you miss friends.
Okay, I do prefer playing solo gigs.
Why is that?
Well,
and don't say it's because you get to keep all the money.
That's not what I was gonna say. That is a nice bonus, but when I make mistakes, I don't it doesn't mess anybody up, and I'm the only person that knows that I made mistakes, which is nice.
Got it. Understood.
What else? It's also cool. Well, it's a lot less time to set up, and then I get to make my own set lists. So at least in Fake ID, we all had very different music tastes, which caused not issues, but not everyone wanted to play the exact same songs. So it's nice to be able to make my own set list.
I would say your music taste is indie. Is that a fair?
Yeah.
Like
I just kind of listen to whatever I want to. I've been quite a Radiohead fan right now. That's not really indie.
I'm going to ask you about that. So put a thumbtack in that one. Don't let me forget to come back and ask you about the bands you like, because I want to ask you about that. But I want to finish talking about so what is it about being in a band that you miss, and what is it that you liked about being part of like a group instead of just like Nora Marie, the solo artist?
Friends. I liked rehearsals a lot, and playing with them. It's really fun.
Like the hang of being with people?
Yeah, I preferred that. Like playing music was fun, but like we got to like goof around. That was more fun. Yeah, I mean, I met a lot of cool people, so I'm still friends with them, so that's cool. Yeah. One of them is my boyfriend now, so that's pretty cool.
Is he sitting and listening to us record?
He's headphones on.
Oh, yes. Okay. So he's there, but he's not listening.
He said he didn't want to spoil it for himself.
I see. Okay. So, yes, but you are now dating the not the guitar player that quit, but the other original guitar player from Fake ID is your beau.
Let's see, what else do I miss?
Did that sound weird?
Yeah, I was just gonna skip past it.
Sorry.
What else? Songwriting was fun. It was a little...
Songwriting as a group?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. We all had very different ideas. Oh, I've been in another band. I was in Social Cues as well.
Social Cues with yes, that also played in the Rock Off.
We did not get to the finals.
The other cool thing about the Rock Off, getting to the Rock Off finals, was that Fake ID got to go into the studio and cut a song.
Yes. That was very fun.
So if you go on the old Spotify or the Apple Music and search for Fake ID, and the song was called Good Times. It's awesome. One of my favorite songs of all time.
Well, you're biased.
I know, but it's also like you wrote it about your deceased grandparents, and it's just a very lyrically, I think it's just a really cool. It's a really cool song that has a lot of meaning behind it that is part of my life too. So I just love that song, and I still listen to it. Probably all the streams on Spotify are probably just me for the last probably like 12 months. Okay, so you mentioned Radiohead.
Oh, I love Radiohead.
Let me ask you this, and I'll give my list too. But if you were like on a desert island and you had your phone with you, and Wi-Fi somehow, but you couldn't call anybody because that would defeat the purpose of being on you had an old iPod
No, you had
on
like
the desert island.
a CD player and this is like your mixtape.
Okay, even better. If you could only listen to 3 bands for the rest of your life, what would those 3 bands be?
Okay. Probably Adult Mom. I've very much so been into their rep right now. They're cool. So all the songs are just very emotional, and I like very emotional music. So
Okay.
Radiohead. I like
Got it.
Radiohead. Ed, for all of those who don't know, my guitar teacher. We're just gonna like learn every song on this one album. Because it's fun. So and what else? I think probably the White Stripes.
Interesting.
They just, I don't know, something about them just vibes differently. I'm a big fan.
They're on my list too. Yeah, they're on my list
I just
too.
feel like I know so many of their songs. I would have a very fun time just like chilling.
The White Stripes are on my list.
I bet I could guess your list.
Go ahead.
Okay. Old 97s.
Old 97's definitely on the
Peter
list.
Gabriel.
I could listen to Old Night. You know me very well. That would be my top 3. Would be Old 97's, White Stripes, and Peter Gabriel. Give me a band that you've discovered that probably no one else listening has heard of that you think people should know and listen to.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I've only listened to a couple songs from this band, but they have like 300 monthly listeners on Spotify. They're called State House.
Well,
and they're really good.
Let's boost that number up. What are they called?
State House. They're just like college kids making music, but it's really fun and I like it.
How did you find them?
I just found this one playlist actually when I had my little Minecraft phase last year. One of the YouTubers I watched, she made a playlist of songs that she really liked, and one of their songs is on there, and I really liked it, so I added it to my playlist, and then I decided to check out more of their music.
Interesting. State House. Okay, so when we promote this, I assume they're on the old Instagram. So when we promote this episode, we can tag them and try and get them some listeners.
Oh, they're so nice. They're just like vibes, just like straight up vibes. They're so fun.
Where are they from? Where are they from? Do you know?
Where are they from? Ryan's on my phone right now. I need my phone.
Oh, I got my phone. Let me see.
Let's see.
This is so exciting for the listeners as I Google a band. It's the very visual art of me typing something on my phone on a podcast is awesome.
They are from
State
Boston.
House. Okay. State House Band. We make music and also live in Boston. Well, that is a hell of a description on the Bandcamp.
Yes.
Oh, they're like kids.
Yeah,
Holy
they're
cow.
in college.
All right, I am going to check out the State House because I think you have really good taste in music, and I'm going to venture to bet that I'm gonna vibe on State House as well.
It's just like indie, math rock, alternative, college rock.
So here's the homework for all the listeners. Go to Bandcamp or go to Spotify or go to Apple Music or wherever you get your tunes. Check out State House. And then either send us a message on Instagram at Norah and Dad Show or on Twitter at Norah and Dad Show or email us norahanddadshow@gmail.com and let us know what you think of Nora's music pick of the week.
What's your music pick
State
of
House.
the week?
I am really digging the new Frank Turner album,
Ooh.
which I think is amazing. It's by far his hardest, most punk album he's done. I like Frank Turner because he writes with a lot of I like artists that write with a lot of emotion. I'm really into lyrics.
I like that too. Look at that.
Look at that. So even if I don't dig, I have to dig the music, but I'll overlook some shoddy music if the song has really cool meaning behind it and I dig the lyrics. Frank Turner happens to have both, but he always writes very personal lyrics. But this album just rocks. It's really, really, really good. So if you don't know,
I have another band too.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, if you have any French listeners, there's this one band called Junior, and they make really cool music. I think it's just like a duo. It's either a duo or a trio, and they just make cool French music. So
there you go. And I will also say, while I don't think that she's certainly not, she's someone that people probably would have heard of by now, but I've been listening to Phoebe Bridgers a lot.
You are a
lately.
Pharb.
What is that what her fans are
Yeah.
called? Pharbs? All right. Well, I'm happy to be a Pharb. I think she's awesome.
You have like the
and
music
if people
taste
don't
of a
know-
teenage girl.
Wonderful.
Or maybe all my
is that-
friends just have the music taste of a...
all your friends have the music taste of a 49-year-old guy. Music is going to keep me young. It's fine. I mean, I remember growing up, Grandma would always play the oldie station in the car, and it was always like music from the 50s, which is fine. Like I can appreciate that now. I didn't really as a kid. I can appreciate it better now. And I still like the music I listened to when I was your age. I was into like The Who and Pink Floyd and Genesis and all like the kind of the quote unquote classic rock. And I still very much like that, but music is going to help keep me young by discovering new artists and getting in touch with kind of what's new and what people are discovering on their own, and it's going to help keep me young.
Need to get on the TikToks.
So I am not getting on the TikToks, but I will happily call myself a Pharb. At 49, I had not heard that phrase yet, but that's okay.
Well, it's because Nicki Minaj
it's all good.
calls her fans Barbs. So Phoebe calls her fans Pharbs. Or maybe that's what the fans call themselves. I'm not quite sure.
Well, either way, Pharb me up, baby. I'm happy to be a Pharb. I don't know what to do with that.
Okay, thank you everyone for listening. You can find me.
All right, this is
at Norah
this has
Marie
been a
Music.
great episode.
And if you want to listen to my song, "Wish I Was Your Guitar," it's on Spotify. As Father mentioned earlier, you can listen to "Good Times" by Fake ID, also on Spotify. Dad, where can they find you?
They can find me at John Hyman, or apparently maybe Pharb Hyman. I don't know. No, they can find me at John Hyman all over the place. This was
an episode.
This was an episode. Should we play out with a little bit of Good Times?
Sure.
You don't sound convinced.
Sure, why not?
We'll play out with a little bit of Good Times.
0.000 something of a penny.
There you go. Great talking to you as always, Nora. We will see everybody next week. Thank you for listening. Love you, Nora.
Love you too.
This is Good Times by the band formerly, I guess they're still known as, Fake ID. Enjoy, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye, farewell. It's been a good ride.